All right, well, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about, or now I'm going to talk about our video number two more examples of how to use the fundamental trig identities to simplify these expressions. All right, so we're going to go with this one over on the left, and I guess I'll label that one number 3 because it's our second video. This is our third example, and now we'll label this one number 4. Okay. Now number 3, once again, what we're going to do is going to simplify this expression. Now, what you notice, as I had in a similar video, is we have sine of 4x minus cosine of 4x. Now, this is a difference of two squares. If you don't know, when you have like x to the fourth minus y to the fourth, all right, this can be simplified to x squared minus y squared, all right, and then x squared plus y squared, all right, because these are squares. Okay, maybe you've done this in advanced algebra, now in trigonometry. I'm going to do the same thing, but now we have sine and cosine. This 4 actually means it's going to be sine of x to the 4th power, all right, minus cosine of x, this little sign right here, this little thing, it means that's the 4th power. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to take the sine and cosine. We're going to go sine of x, that quantity squared, minus cosine of x, that quantity squared. So we're going to complete this. We're completing the difference of squares right here. All right, times now the sine of x, that quantity squared again, plus, all right, cosine of x, that quantity squared. And normally we put the square in front of the s and in front of the n right there, but just for simplicity sake, me similar to what we've done in the past, we'll write like that. Okay, now from here we're going to use some trig identities. And the easiest one is we know sine squared plus cosine squared, well, that equals 1. All right, that's one of the basic fundamental trig identities you got to know. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. All right, so we got that one. That's cool. Now, the other one is we have these. Now, sine. Now, from here, we know that, I'm going to just write this in a different color down here just so you can see. Sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x equals 1. And we can take one of these other ones, and I'm going to see if something can cancel out, because I'm going to put this in terms of sine and cosine. Because I know that cosine squared, well, I'll take sine squared. Sine squared of x is going to equal 1 minus cosine squared of x. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take this. All I did was I just subtracted cosine to the other side. We can do the same thing for cosine. So cosine squared of x equals 1 minus sine squared of x, if you didn't know that. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take this, all right, I'm going to plug one of these in. I'm going to take the sign because that's positive, so I have to read the negative through. So I'm going to take this portion, and I'm going to plug that in for sine. So what I have now is going to be 1 minus cosine squared of x, and that replaces sine squared of x, all right, replaces sine squared of x. I have minus cosine squared of x. And what we have now is we have a negative and a negative, so now we can write it as 1 minus 2 cosine squareds of x. And that would be, my friends, all right, our final answer is simplified answer, one that you could have. All right, technically, I guess you could have this as your final answer, technically, all right, because we probably could break this down again if we wanted to, because it's another difference of squares, all right. And we could break this down even more if we wanted to. But we'll just leave it like this because that's fine. All right. Well, let's try one more before I finish up this video. All right. So cosine, all right, of pi over 2 minus x, or secant of x. Well, this one, once again, hopefully, if you remember, all right, this is kind of easier. Hopefully, look at this saying, well, what is that? Well, that is a cofunction identity, right? Cosine of pi over 2 minus x, that we know is going to equal to sine of x times secant of x. Well, what's secant? Let's use another fundamental, all right? Reciprocal identity, and we know that's 1 over cosine. So whenever you get stuck, just change these to sine and cosine. That's what all trig ratios are, even tangent and cotangent. These are in there. So now we have sine times 1 over cosine, which is sine of x over cosine of x, which I think we all know is going to equal tangent of x. And so that one just simplifies to tangent of x, and that's what we got. All right. Well, I hope these help out. I'm going to do another video, all right, and another thing, but keep these a little short. Once again, difference of squares, All right, completing this using the cofunction identity and change the sine cosine. Some basic strategies that solve and simplify trigonometric expressions. Well, good luck and God bless in the rest of your problems.